My childhood life and my teenage life was so full of why this, why me, and why others have this and I don't have them. So it was full of insecurities and it was full of bringing myself down. I was bringing myself down because I had no self-esteem. I had full of insecurities, especially when I'm being compared to other people, and especially when other people are progressing and I'm doing nothing, especially when other people have a lot of things and I don't have anything, because of how I looked life and how I viewed myself toward life. When I was really young, that was in my childhood phase, I remember me not doing things that I wanted to do because of my friends who are doing those kind of things and they were really good at them. And I had the inner thoughts to say, I can't really do this because I have no privilege to expose myself in that way. For example, I was one of the children who took time to learn English. For me, just to speak proper English, straight English, to have a bit of grammar, it was so hard for me, despite me being at a very expensive school by then. And that expensive school had a lot of white people. They had a lot of classic things that which helped a lot of children to learn and to get exposed to kind of children projects and those kind of things. But I was not that kind of a child. I was a child who was way too slow in learning. I was a child who was way too slow in grasping things, not because that's how I was born, but because I had my inner self, which was so weak. And I was a child, my inner self was really weak, and the environment also contributed because of how I saw or how I viewed my friends. In my teenage phase, the class that I was in was just so full of geniuses, like full of people who really had it all, full of people who really had their accent, full of people who really had their shape well, like they were looking great and they had a nice skin tone, full of people who were just so amazing. If I talk about amazing, I talk about something that is so beautiful. And comparing myself to them was really something that I always did. They really had a lot of good marks. They were really doing great in school, not just in school, but also socially and in all other aspects of their lives. They were really doing great, and I was able to watch them. And I had to hide myself in those kind of scenarios. I remember one of the teachers asking a lot of questions in class. Despite me knowing the answer, I just couldn't raise my hand and give out the answer because my inner self was telling me to say, what if I say a wrong answer and they're going to laugh at me? I'm going to feel so ashamed. I won't really manage this whole thing. I remember not just doing anything. I remember taking notes despite not knowing what everything meant. And that was really hard. It made me to fail a lot of exams, a lot of tests, a lot of who I am. I didn't really expose or try to understand who I was by then in my teenage life. It was something that was so hard and so huge for me to understand, just to grasp everything. In my high school, from one high school where I was in, where the classes was full of geniuses, and went to a different school, and the change of school really helped me a bit to see different view about myself. I saw different views, and I saw my world to be different because there were people who were in my same level as I was in, and that really helped me. When I was young, I remember having a crush on someone, and this person, I really loved this person. I had a crush on this person, and this person had a crush on the other person. And when I knew about it and I saw the kind of girl he had a crush on, she was just way different from me. She was just totally different from me in each and every way. The intelligence, the skin tone, the body, the height, and everything. Everything was just way different. She had long hair and she was looking so stunning. She was looking so beautiful. And I saw myself looking up in the room, and I looked up myself. I looked up my feelings. I looked up each and everything about me. I wasn't myself. I didn't have any courage. I felt dragging myself down, and it wasn't a problem to me because I knew that I won't get up. I knew that I couldn't match to that level. I knew that I was just a total different. I knew that I was a failure. I knew that I couldn't grab anything because of how low I was in everything. There was a time where my admiration shifted from admiring to envious, where you want to get something, you want to have something because you keep having those thoughts of being somebody else. And I was so compromised because of different kind of personalities which I was viewing, and I struggled of which one should I go for. So my admiration became envious, and I really thank my parents that they really did a great job of reminding me to say you don't have to be envious. Admiring is okay. You want to admire something because you will learn something. But if you be envious and it means you want to get something, you will do anything to get that thing, even if it's a wrong thing. And they reminded me to say I need to be content of what I have. I need to be happy of who I am, and I also need to work hard. I need to work hard and be somebody. And thankfully, because of those points, I ended up being in the admiration phase instead of being innocent, instead of wanting to get things by force. Right? Childhood and the teenage life phase wasn't of a lot of experience, a lot of projects experience, especially when we are in school. You go in clubs, and there are those clubs where you have mathematics clubs, you have debate club, and all those kind of things. I wasn't able to come out in those kind of projects where I could just go there and learn and experience a lot of things in the world. You move around with the world, and you have a lot of great projects where you get to experience a lot of things, to learn a lot of things. I never had those chances because I never saw myself in those kind of phases. I just used to go to school, learn the things that I don't even understand, and I won't even ask any questions, come out from class and go directly home. That's how I was. That's how my teenage life was, and that's how my childhood life was. In my school life, and everything was just different because I couldn't really understand who I was. I couldn't see the views of everything. My secondary life also affected my college life because I was still the same person. I shifted the way I was in my secondary life into my college life. I couldn't just find myself getting into projects that are going to be helpful, learning new skills and moving around the world, because moving around the world to learn, to go to workshops and to do things that are great. I found myself just going from class directly to my room, which wasn't really helpful for me. But thankfully in my second year, end of second year should be, I found myself doing YouTube content, which wasn't even of my idea. It just came in me, like God was speaking to me to start a YouTube channel. In that way, I started exposing myself more and more through YouTube, and I also had to open up my mind to creativity. So because of the YouTube content, like each and every time I wanted to make something that is for YouTube, despite not knowing how even YouTube used to work by then. So I became a bit creative, and it made my mind, my brain to work a lot, and also to get to understand and get to know what I have in me and how much I can do, and it really helped me to understand everything. A lot of people think that I am an introvert, which I somehow a bit agree. I can be an introvert, and I can also a bit be an extrovert. I'm in between the two, but the introvert part comes in a lot because of how my childhood and teenage life kind of left an impact in me. Like, I never wanted to go to those gatherings, but even if I go to those gatherings, what am I going to say about myself? What am I going to put on the table? Because I don't really feel good about myself. So if I don't feel good about myself, how am I going to share it to the world? Because everything just don't make sense to me. It won't make sense to the world. And because of those thoughts, I was really comfortable to hide myself in a corner to sit in there and just hug myself and leave everything, to let everything be. Even now I get to have difficulties in my socialism, like being out there a lot of most of my time, and just to socialize with people for a longer period of time or a lot of days, because I find myself being drained. I find myself kind of not being comfortable that much, or kind of being tired easily, and get to have a lot of headaches, get to have a lot of disorganization, and I just feel so comfortable. I just feel like I'm way out of my comfort zone because of how my teenage life or my childhood life was. I never used to go out to experience a lot of projects, to experience a lot of learning, not the experience that of in a bad way, like you go out drinking, you go out smoking, you go out clubbing, but that experience of going out as church programs or school programs more often, I would just get out there and just go directly to school and come back home. Not that I didn't have opportunities, but because of how low self-esteem I was, comparing myself to other people, because a lot of words were coming out to say, be like her, do things like her, you're too skinny, you're too dumb. There are times where I could do something and I don't get any compliments because I did it. But there's something, if someone do the something that I did, they will get compliments. And that made me to have a different view, and that really left a deep impact in me, and having thought to myself that I'm not good enough. Even if I do good, because it's me, this won't go anywhere. And comparing yourself to others isn't something that is great, because you don't know what other people go through. If you compare yourself to them, maybe you are admiring some of the clothes, you are admiring their skin tone, you're admiring their hair. You don't really know what they go through to have those kind of things. It can either be a bad thing, or maybe they don't have any bad things that they go through for them to have those kind of things. But comparing yourself will make you to lose yourself. It will make you to be like them. You be like a clone to them. Instead of you being yourself, you are the only person this world has. No one can be like you. So if you compare yourself, it's like you are removing who you are, and you want to be like that person. You want to be a clone to that person, right? That's how comparison is. So do not compare yourself. Be yourself and let the world know who you really are. Let the world know the you, because no one is you and no one will ever be you. It's just you, and that's the end of the story. Instead of being envious, be inspired of what you see. When you see something, there is envious, yes, but do not turn your envious into the bad situation. Make sure that you lower your keys down and be inspired of what other people are doing, what other people have got, so that you get to work hard and get something out of the inspiration, right? Being inspired is something that is really great. If you were to push you up and you go further and further, you'll be able to grow. Be inspired and learn to appreciate them. Let them know that you appreciate them, you love what they do, and you are really inspired. You will work hard on yourself. You will work on some things that are going to help you because you were inspired. So be inspired, and that is going to work for you. The environment is really, really helpful, because you will meet new people, you will meet different people, you will meet people with the same level as you, and you will meet people who are going to be progressing a bit by bit, who are progressing bit by bit, and you will learn from their steps. And you also see people who are a bit lower than you, and in that way you have the courage to say, I need to be on a different level, so that the people who are a bit lower than me can be able to learn from me, from my progress and everything. So you can change some places, or you can shift to a place where you get to feel low, to a different place, so that you get to be able to see different people with different views, different thinking, different ideas, and just to have fresh air. So that is going to be helpful, and it's really going to help you to grow and to have a different view about yourself. If you want to have a peaceful 20s, 30s, and 40s with no regrets, you need to make sure that you deal with the childhood traumas or the teenage traumas. those things that used to make you drain and make you to just be, not to have a good view about yourself. You need to make sure that you deal with those insecurities, you deal with all those traumas that you have, so that you get to have a fresh mind, you get to have good 20s, you don't regret, because you've already wasted your childhood and your teenage life, and you won't really afford to waste your 20s, because that's why you will need to create more of things that are going to help you in your 30s and in your 40s, and also more and more years. So you need to make sure that you deal with all those traumas, either from friendship or school life or church life or any other aspect of life, even just home. If you have any home traumas or insecurities, just deal with them. It will be hard to deal with them, but you really need to work on it. You really need to work on yourself, because you are going to drain yourself even in your 20s. Social media can really destroy somebody's life. This is one thing that we don't really understand. It's not social media destroying our lives, but it's us allowing social media to destroy us because of how we take social media to be. We make social media to leave a lot of impact in our lives. When you are scrolling your social media and you see how your feed is, it's full of people who are really doing so well. It's full of people who are really making a lot of success. But one thing that you don't know is that there is a behind scenes of each and every image you scroll, each and every video you scroll. The video that you see that leaves a different impact in you, like destroying you or crushing you or lowering your self-esteem and thinking that you are not doing well in life, that video has a lot of behind of the scenes. You don't really know what is going on behind that image. You don't really know the pain or the things that are so disturbing that is going on behind that thing. And even if there are no any bad behind the scenes, you don't have to take that to be a very bad impact in you. Instead, make it to be a good impact in your life. You've seen them doing great, right? So you need to learn to do great things. You need to learn to conquer your goals and also to have a positive mind each and every time. And that is really going to help you to come out from the things that are really eating you up, the things that are really destroying you or crushing you, things that are going to help you to be somebody else. You can change every negativity that you see to be in a positive way. It's not an easy thing, but it being that you want to reach your goal, you want to reach where you want to be, you need to make sure that you just work on it and just be yourself. So these are the things I thought of sharing with you guys on the Talk to Me on the Couch. So these are the things that are going to help you, me, and us to grow and grow. And I thought of coming up with this because it's really going to help us in so many aspects of our lives. Don't forget to subscribe, to share as well, and to also put in the comment section about some of the things that you've gone through and the advice and what you're going through right now. You never know, there could be someone who is also going through the something, and you get to encourage yourselves, you get to encourage one another to share some of the things, some of the stories that are going to leave impact on other people. The things that we do in our childhood and in our teenage life really gives an impact when we grow up. It really affects of how we grow up and how we get to nurture ourselves. It's that thing where people get to mistake you to be an introvert, not knowing that you are having low self-esteem. So we need to make sure that we get out from the nutshell and to be someone we want to be. We want to grow and to conquer our goals. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and thank you so much for everything. Don't forget to subscribe, to share, and also to comment, and see you in the next episode. Bye.